John here, and this video is about a 5-mile hike around the hiker-only Beaver Brook and Chavez Loop Trail in Genesee Park, Colorado, a little under 30 minutes west of downtown Denver. It begins with a mild descent through the forest, an encounter with a charming little stream, followed by a hike along the rushing Beaver Brook, and finally a scenic but challenging climb back to the trailhead. I arrived shortly before sunup at the trailhead, which is just under 7,600 feet above sea level, but didn't experience that familiar morning stillness because the trailhead is located close to I-70 and traffic noise was quite noticeable for the first quarter mile. The hike begins on the Beaver Brook Trail, and within a little over a third of a mile, the Chavez Trail branches to the right. I continued going straight, however, wanting to go clockwise around the loop. In about 2.8 miles, at the loop's lowest elevation of just over 6,550 feet, I will encounter the Chavez Trail again and take it back to the trailhead, while the over 9-mile-long Beaver Brook Trail continues on to Windy Saddle Park on Lookout Mountain above Golden. Opened in 1913, Genesee Park is the oldest of Denver's 22 mountain parks and is also the largest at over 2,400 acres. Feels more like two separate parks, though, with this one north of the highway and the other south. For now, the hiking is effortless as I continue descending towards the trail's meeting with Beaver Brook, a little over 2 miles from the start. But overall, this 5-mile loop is considered to be moderately difficult due to some rough terrain along the creek, and also because the last 2 miles gain over 1,000 feet of elevation. All of a sudden, the trail came upon a tiny streamlet flowing happily through the flowers and trees, and the trail and the stream became inseparable companions all the way down to the main creek. You know, there's a long list of reasons why I love to hike, but always near the top are the unexpected surprises, like this little stream. At last, I caught sight of the main canyon, at the bottom of which runs Beaver Brook. I also caught first sight of the many four-legged beasts I was to encounter throughout the rest of the hike. They weren't really wild beasts, however, just having wild fun, running through the creek, their tongues hanging out, barking, splashing, chasing sticks, and having the time of their lives. Because the trail lies so close to the creek, it is a favorite among water-loving pups who, with their dog parents, like to hike down here to enjoy the pleasant streamside shade and the coolness of the water on a hot day. This section of the trail only runs along the creek for about 3/4 of a mile, but due to the necessary route finding and rock scrambling, it seemed much longer. Conveniently, all the many stream crossings are bridged now, and hikers no longer have to get wet if they don't want to. Hiking next to this energetic and joy-filled creek was my favorite part of the loop. And with so many places to sit and enjoy the rushing stream, it was also a great place to relax. After saying goodbye to Beaver Brook and its companion trail, I made a right turn onto the Chavez Trail and began moving at a snail's pace, for it was all uphill now. Even though this part of the hike is steep and rocky, the trail is finely crafted in the old school way with stone steps and rock walls. And that is because this was the original Beaver Brook Trail, constructed in 1917 to connect Genesee Park with the Beaver Brook train station down in Clear Creek Canyon to the north. The following year, an extension was built all the way to Lookout Mountain in the east and is still in use today, while the section down to Clear Creek no longer exists. Sometime later, the trail I was just on from the trailhead down to and along the creek was constructed and named the Chavez Trail. So, at some point recently, the names of these two trails were swapped, and if you have any information about this, please feel free to mention it in the comments. The trail eventually became a little less steep, which was very fortunate because my legs were really feeling the burn, not to mention my lungs. Tired legs and lungs were mostly forgotten, though, as I got caught up in euphoria at the beauty of nature all around me. The bright rays of sunlight shining through the trees do it to me every time. Eventually I reached the top of the climb, and the view was so inspiring I just had to sit and enjoy it for a long while, not because I was exhausted. Back on the trail, I caught sight of another small stream, a little larger than the one from earlier, but just as enchanting. Soon the trail met up with it, and because the day had gotten warmer and the shade had gotten a lot spottier, I also hung out here for a while. Near the end of the hike, I reached the Braille Trail, which, with its waist-high guide wire, was designed as a nature trail for the sight impaired. At one time, there were also dozens of interpretive signs, all in Braille, and thus the trail's name. Sadly, the signs are all gone now, due to either theft or vandalism, because we just can't have anything nice, can we? A quick jaunt on the Chavez Connector Trail brings me back to the Beaver Brook Trail, and all too soon, I am back at the trailhead. Best wishes on enjoying your next hike, and bye for now.